Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing really well. I am back in the wonderful Passat. I want to say a massive thanks to everyone for the love and support around the main video on this car and the single tank challenge. I'm just so glad that number one, the trip went as well as it did, and this car managed to almost do 1,500 miles as we go past another Passat on a single tank, which is just insane. But I'm also glad that the video has gone down so well on YouTube and on platforms like my Facebook channel. Really has gained a lot of love, so appreciate that. Thank you so much. In fact, if you are one of those people that did enjoy the Africa to London video in this car, I urge you to head over to our Drive Talk podcast channel and check out the episode where Petrolped essentially interviewed Patrick and myself. We get into the nitty-gritty and we go behind the scenes. It's been about 2 months since Patrick and I returned from that wonderful trip, and I've been using the Passat as a daily when I've been home in the UK, and it's been really useful, really easy. Obviously, going to the supermarket or having to park it in a public car park, it's just been no stress and no worry like it would be in cars like my M3. Also, unsurprisingly, well, the fuel gauge has hardly moved. I've used quarter of a tank since I filled it up 2 months ago at that petrol station right at the end of our one tank challenge video. And that brings us nicely to the here and now. What is happening to the wonderful Passat? Well, in an ideal world, I would love to keep it, but the reality is I don't have the space at home, and I don't think Lou would be particularly happy, especially as I'm kind of half looking at motorbikes at the moment. It has a bit of history now, and I was hoping that I would get back at least what I paid for it, especially after what Elite Garages had done to the car. And there is more stuff that had been done to the car prior to the trip that I haven't documented on my channel, but we did talk about in the Drive Talk podcast episode, so another reason to listen to that. I'm delighted to say that Michelin UK are buying this Passat from me. As you probably know, Michelin have loads of wonderful partners and friends like Elite Garages, and they've actually contacted PistonHeads, who are a partner of theirs, who are going to list this car on the PistonHeads auction site, and all of the proceeds are going to go to a charity of my choice. And the charity that I'm choosing are Mind, because, well, they're very close to my heart. They're a charity that I've donated to in the past, and as you already know, this car runs exceptionally well. It has a wonderful fresh set of Michelin e-primacy tyres on it. But I haven't told you where I am heading now. For those of you that live in the south of the UK, well, you probably recognise this as the M40, and I'm heading into London. And the reason I'm heading into London is to go and see one of Michelin's other partners, a company called Topaz Detailing. You might have heard of Topaz before. I certainly have, and I've actually been down to Topaz a number of times, mostly with Tim Schmid 150 when he's collected his new cars. Topaz have agreed to essentially give this 2011 Passat with nearly 97,000 miles in it a proper detail and a few other bits and pieces, which we'll look into once they've completed it. The paintwork on this car is a bit hit and miss. It's not too bad for a 13-year-old car, but there are some scratches and marks and swells on it, as you'd expect. And actually, when Patrick and I returned back from that Morocco trip, I noticed there's a big dent and scratch on the boot that definitely wasn't there prior to us going on that trip. So I'm guessing someone maybe reversed into it or something whilst it was parked up, because the parking out there in Morocco is a little bit sketchy. So they're hopefully going to repair that dent and just basically make the car look and come across as a much nicer proposition to live with. Also, the interior, I think they might be doing something with the driver's seat, which is probably the biggest weak spot of this car at the moment, are the cracks in the leather and the driver's seat itself. Anyway, I am delighted that this is all going ahead and happening. Such a lovely and wonderful gesture from Topaz, from Piston Heads, from Michelin. Let's fast forward to getting to Topaz, because I haven't been there probably for 4 or 5 years now. I'm sure there's going to be loads of tasty cars lying around, because anyone that's got anything that's special usually takes it down to Topaz. But I bet you they've never had a 2011 Cashmere Passat. Right, here we are guys, down here at Topaz Detailing. I can't believe that the Passat is in here amongst some properly nice machinery. There's a couple of bits that I can get on camera, but obviously these are mostly privately owned cars and we can't film all of them, but you just have to take my word for it. There are some very, very special cars down here. I'm going to get the wonderful Thomas Howarth on camera. He's a social media manager down here. He runs Horsepower Hunters Instagram page, which I'm sure you're very familiar with. I'm going to have a quick walk around the car, talk about what's going to get done to it in the time that it's down here, and then we're going to walk away and leave the car down here at Topaz.
There's no doubt that this car needs a refresh, and that's exactly why it's here. We're going to make it look beautiful. It's actually going to have our level 3 detail, which is a 3-stage polish. So we're going to address the tears and the stitching that's come undone on this bolster, but of course we're also going to use our own Topaz products, leather cleaner, etc., to transform the way this cream leather looks. We'll do some 50-50s and it'll be literally night and day. You know, we've got bird lime marks on the roof. We've got a very suspicious mark that, you know, I won't touch it, but I've no idea what that is. And you told me you don't know how you did this dent. I don't know if you're lying to me and if you very well remember backing into something.
I'll blame it on Patrick because he's not here.
You'll be delighted to see the transformation, because I mean, just look at, even just a wash, this car is well overdue. Yes. You know, the brake dust on these wheels, again, we'll use our own Topaz wheel cleaner, our own Topaz pre-wash, etc., to fully prepare this car, decontaminating it, before getting hands-on with that 3-stage polish that I mentioned. And that's when we really start to see the transformation, when we start to manipulate the clear coat, remove the scratches, and make this thing shine back like probably better than it did back in 2011 when it was showroom fresh, because this car probably has never really been cared for to a proper standard, you know, sent down to the local Tesco car wash or whatever. So here we're going to give it the treatment it deserves after obviously what it's been through with you guys, and obviously where I hope it continues to go with it being auctioned and so on. We want to make it look its absolute best.
Well, one of your beauties.
Yes, well look, we've even got the Piston Heads logo.
Yes.
Perfectly in place.
Michelin tyres, obviously.
Michelin tyres, we're very on brand here.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything that I'm missing, to be honest. And this one's ULEZ compliant.
That's what I was about to say. Isn't it ironic that this, that you struggle to get 10, 12 miles to the gallon in, is ULEZ compliant, but this that does nearly 100 miles to the gallon isn't ULEZ compliant.
One thing I will say though is in 2 weeks' time, when this car looks brand new, I probably still won't have bothered to wash this one. You can see this is post Goodwood. We're awesome. Delighted to help, and I'm actually genuinely excited to see the transformation. You know, we are very spoiled. You know, I won't draw your attention too much to some of the cars behind me because they're a little bit secret, but we are very spoiled that we get the multi-million-pound supercars, hypercars here, and we do the paint protection film is our bread and butter. So that car will come in, it'll look amazing from the get-go, and obviously the idea of PPF is it looks the same at the end because it's an invisible protection. However, this is going to be a real transformation, so I am genuinely excited to see the result and what we can do with this car. So, you're back, Joe's back, but we're not going to show you the car yet. It is finished, but we've got some other treats to show you first. We'll make you wait to see the result on the car, and believe me, the result is good. So here we've got one of 22 DBR22 Speedster Aston Martin. This thing is immense. It's essentially a DBS underneath, but of course, no windscreen, full carbon fibre body, very rare, very expensive car that's been with us for PPF. Couldn't go without mentioning this, SLS Black Series satin conversion, so we've used our satin paint protection film to take this from gloss white to satin white. Obviously it's in the middle of our quality control process because we want it to leave perfect, hence all the stickers, and then a lovely 992 911 ST hiding at the back that's also had PPF, just getting prepared to go back to the customer. Now let's head downstairs. We've got some more surprises down there before we show you the car. One little treat for you guys, you might not be able to send your car down to Topaz, you might be too far away from us, or you might not have the budget to spend on a level 3 detail like this Passat's had. We do have our car care range, and we used all of these products on the Passat, which is part of how we got it looking as good as it did. So we want to give you a discount across our entire range, 25% off, Passat 25 off our entire range. We've got everything, wheel cleaners, shampoos, snow foams, Hydrolite, which is like a ceramic coating in a bottle, all the good stuff, anything you might need for making your car look fantastic. So we've made you wait long enough, I've made Joe wait long enough. I'm going to go find Nabil, the boss here, to show you around the Passat how good it's looking. So I'll be back in a minute.
Right then, guys, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Topaz himself,
Yes.
or half
Hello.
of Mr. Topaz, Nabil. So how long have
Yeah.
Topaz been around now?
Since 2009.
Okay.
So we've been working hard at looking after cars 2009, and I'm just happy to see a car like this come through our door.
It doesn't quite fit in, but it somehow does.
Yeah,
I think it probably gets more attention in here than some of the
It really
exotic
does.
stuff.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. Yeah. So 2009, we're now in over 7 countries actually.
Wow.
15 studios across the world. Yeah.
But this was the original.
This is the original. It's actually the one next door.
Okay.
Unit 15 was the original.
Okay.
And then we moved on to here, to this one, and then we doubled up. So then we got upstairs as well. When I came down to say hello to you, it's the first time I saw the car as well. Whilst you just saw the car, both of us are looking at it for the first time.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my God, what a difference.
Let's just admire it and look at it. It's
100%.
absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
I would like to say it's showroom fresh, but it's much better than showroom fresh. And the ironic thing of saying that is half the cars, or probably more of the cars you get down here, are actually correcting paint and stuff from the factory, right?
Yeah,
So they
exactly.
are showroom fresh, but they become Topaz fresh when they leave here.
100%, 100%. I'm just glad that we're able to showcase some of the work that we do on a car like this, because you get to really see it. I mean, look at the headlights. I mean, that was just...
I asked Thomas if you'd replace them, because I don't believe that you actually clean them. They are ridiculous. And all the chrome. I mean, there's so much details. I know you've replaced like the badges and the centre cap of the wheel. But you've refurbed the wheels, the wheel arches. Everything.
I mean, even if I don't know if you felt the paint that much before, but if you feel it now, it's super smooth, right?
It's beautiful.
And that's because before I had a lot of contaminants on the paintwork. So these are all contaminants that you have below surface contaminants and above surface contaminants. What this car had was both, obviously, right? But the reason why it felt really, really rough at the beginning is because above the surface, it was just literally loads of fallout, contaminants, tar was literally sitting on top of the paint, never been cleaned before. So
and building up.
So even when you wash the car, it doesn't really clean it. So that's why we have a mechanical decontamination, the clay bar, which you probably would have seen and you probably used yourself. But yeah, there's different versions of the clay bar that we have. So we use 2 versions of clay bar on this to get it to be this smooth. And then we also did an iron extraction to be able to remove all of the iron fillings that from fallout, industrial fallout. So you put it onto the paintwork and it just literally just drips away. So that's why it feels really smooth. That's before we even started the paint correction.
Okay. Oh, that's just right. That's the first step.
That's the first step.
What I'm worried about now is you're telling me this and I can feel that. I bet you that actually makes this car a little bit more efficient again. Because the wind probably blows over it better, so maybe I need to do the challenge once more time.
Oh God! Honestly, you say that. So we throughout the years we've gone to F1 races, and we've had the privilege of applying some ceramic coatings onto F1 cars before they're about to go into a race. That's because it makes them smoother.
It does make them smoother.
Wow. So it does work. So you joke, but actually you probably will get an improvement.
We should have come here first.
You probably will get an improvement.
You
know, so obviously the paintwork is that was done with the decontamination, and then we did 2 to 3 stages of paint correction. Hence why now when you see it under the lights and everything, there's no swirl marks and all that kind of stuff. It's been reduced substantially. I think we spent about 45 hours on the stuff. Something like that.
Normal Passat ownership, right?
Yeah. 45 hours of pampering.
Wow.
You know, and then again, you see all the chrome, all the rubbers have been degreased. You see again, all the plastics are all very consistent. That's because all the products we've used, obviously our products, and I'm not plugging them in here, but genuinely speaking, they've been designed to work. You know, because we use them all the time.
Sure.
You know,
it's brought it back to life again.
It really has.
And like you said, they're all the same colour. Because that's the first thing that goes, especially in the UK, with our sort of extreme summers and winters we're getting. Plastics and stuff lose colour, don't they? And the chrome, like you said, this was all pitted and a bit corroded looking, and
that's right.
It all makes the car look a little bit worse over time. But now when it's all like this, it's just
it's incredible. So there's 3 things that actually made me really look at this car and go, amazing! Oh my God, look at the transformation. The interior obviously is one of them. That's a real transformation. Honestly, it's one of those things where I look when I came in, I was like, okay,
this is going to be a big before and after.
Yes.
And now, truth be told, it is.
It's unreal. You guys sent me some clips of, especially the leather, like the centre armrests, where it was like before and after.
Yeah,
and I was like at home going, oh, my elbows have been on that.
Did you go have a shower a few times?
Yeah, 100%. Like you just, but I didn't.
You're like, oh my God, have I been sitting on all this time?
Exactly, we did the whole challenge in the car. But I mean, the driver's seat, now you've seen it before in this video and many times. And that was one of the big negatives when we picked this car up from the auction. Not that we could be fussy because it was $2,500. But the driver's seat was horribly ripped here and here. And it looked like a driver's seat that had done 100,000 miles, wasn't looked after. And it just, I mean, you can't even see where the repair is. And also, the first thing I noticed is when you touch it, the leather seems to come back to life. It's gone from being plasticky to feeling like leather again.
Exactly, and the plasticky feeling that you're talking about is just purely just the oils that are just sitting on the surface of the leather.
Okay.
So when we deglossed it, before it looked shinier as well, if you remember. So now we deglossed it, so it took it back to its original state, and then we fed the leather. I think also, this was for me like the biggest difference, honestly. It's just mental.
That is just... It's insane at first glance, but then the further you look into it, quite literally, the more insane it becomes. I mean, like these runners here, the bonnet itself. You could literally, I'll be happy to eat my dinner off that. Like
honestly, even look at the reservoirs and everything. It's all, you know, we talked about this off camera, but everything here is all it's just been cleaned properly, you know. And again, we use all our degreasers, our all-purpose cleaner to be able to get in here and really make sure we get every aspect of it.
I'm so happy and so glad because this is going to a really good cause and very close to my heart, Mind Charity. And I'm so grateful that you guys got involved. Like really, it's awesome.
No, mate, it's my absolute pleasure, and I thank you again for giving us the opportunity to get involved with something like this, which is a meaningful reason, you know, to do these kind of things, and we absolutely love it. So, you know, I hope it will do well in auction.
Absolutely.
You know, again, if it doesn't do well in auction, I'm going to buy it.
Yes, you have to beat me first. Well, I think you got a few more squid than I have. But, thank you, mate. No, I really appreciate it.
No, mate, it's our pleasure.
And it's really good to see you as well.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks to Topaz. You joined me a few days later, and I'm in the Passat, driving it over to Bicester Heritage. Tomorrow, Piston Heads are holding their annual service, and this car is actually going to be on stage with Patrick and I talking about its story, its history, and what is about to happen with it, i.e. it's about to get auctioned off, and all of the proceeds are going to go to Mind, which is a mental health charity of my choice, which I'm super excited about. By the time you watch this video, the auction would have gone live, so I'll put a link to that in the pinned comment and in the description. It will run until, I think it's the morning of Sunday the 18th of August. Have I got that right? I hope so. Make sure you get a bid in nice and early, because I'm really hoping that it's going to fetch at least, let's say, £5,000. I mean, Topaz alone have probably poured 2.5 to 3 grand's worth of elbow grease into this car, not to mention the wonderful Elite Garages, and of course the main sponsor, my main sponsor, Michelin UK. So when you combine those three together, this car has got to be worth it. Its only big negative, as far as I'm concerned, is the fact that it somehow isn't ULEZ compliant. So if you live in or around London and want to drive this car within the M25, then I would almost advise forgetting it, because I think I worked out it's going to be about £500 a month just on ULEZ charges, not to mention congestion charge and all the rest of it. So aside from that, if you don't rely on ULEZ, this car is going to be the bargain of the century. Anyway, we're just about to approach Bicester now, so I need to make sure I can get this car in there. Not sure they'll believe me when I say that this is one of the show cars, but it is. And I'm going to take this opportunity just once again to thank everyone involved in this project. Patrick, James, Michelin UK, everyone down at Elite Garages, and of course most recently Topaz Detailing and Piston Heads for making sure all of this came together in the auction, not charging any fees for that, and supplying a warranty as well. So this car will be sold with a warranty, just in case, because you can never be too sure. It's 13 years old, it's had lots of things replaced, but you never know what could happen down the track. Certainly running like a dream right now. I'll leave you with some shots from tomorrow when this car is on stage. But yeah, thanks again for all the support and love around it. I really appreciate the fact that you've enjoyed this video series. Hey buddy, this is one of the show cars for Piston Heads tomorrow. Right, here we are at the Michelin stand. This is pretty cool. Oh, look at this. Oh, what a sign off for the Passat. What a sign off for the Passat. Fantastic. Cheers guys. Right, you join us on Saturday morning and we're driving the Passat over to the stage at the Piston Heads annual service. It's been a fantastic day so far. So many amazing cars, especially on the Michelin lawn. Look at that GT3 RS 4.0, very, very nice. But anyway, looking forward to getting up on the stage. Patrick is behind the camera. Yeah, hopefully it's going to be a good morning and we can talk loads about the Passat. It's been online for 2 hours and it's already over £3,000. So thank you so much to everyone that's already bidded. And I really hope that it goes on to, well, at least 5 grand, and all of that money goes to the Mind charity, which is just awesome. Actually, I'm wearing a Tacona t-shirt that says, "It's okay to talk," which it is.
That car drove all the way from Morocco to London.
His 730 LD as my chauffeur car. Managed to get 901 miles out of it, I think. We drove round the corner and down to the hotel because we'd even researched where to fill the car up in relation to the hotel, so that once we filled it up the night before the challenge, we could roll down to the hotel. So we didn't have to use any fuel.
I guess you'd reached your goal then. It was just to see how much further you could go.
We are approaching the end of a wonderful day down here at Bicester Heritage with Piston Heads and their annual service, and kind of the end of the wonderful Passat story. And I thought it'd be lovely to get Mr. Patrick on camera one last time to talk about the Passat and his final thoughts. Mate, what are your memories of this car and are you going to miss it?
Oh, I'm definitely going to miss it. We just had it up on the stage, didn't we? And we were talking through it there, and it was the first time I properly got to look around the car with the host Cameron. We were looking around it and talking about it, and like, if you look at it now, I mean, the sun's a perfect example. The paintwork was already quite nice, wasn't it? But
it
now
wasn't bad.
It's like immaculate. Like it didn't come out of the dealership this nice. There's no way. There was a massive. I mean, I remember we've done massive rip in this seat, only from wear and tear. But I just can't get over how perfect it is. Like,
it's hard to believe it's the same car, isn't it?
It's brand new. I mean, there's small things you probably can't pick up on camera, but you've got like the curved plastic on the dials, and they were scratched. And you know, we put the GoPro in, didn't we, for the time lapse? It's now mint. I mean, they haven't replaced parts.
The good old e-primacies. Oh. Look at those bad boys.
I'm gonna have to get a set of these for my Passat, you know.
Yes, yeah.
This is like a heritage thing, as like a
also
remembering.
I think also safety wise, because the tyres you got in your Passat are, I think they refer to them as ditch finders. I hope you enjoyed this video, us basically saying farewell to the Passat. Once again, huge, massive thanks to Michelin UK. Huge thanks to Piston Heads for a wonderful day and for auctioning the car. Massive thanks to Elite Garages, and huge thanks to Topaz Detailing, who have really worked their magic on this 13-year-old car to make it look absolutely brand new, especially in this sunlight. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. Hopefully see you at another video very, very soon. Take it easy.